This is Jeff Durkin with We Are Change CT. Just got back yesterday from covering Barrett Brown's sentencing hearing on Tuesday, which was supposed to be a sentencing hearing, but ended up being much more perplexed and much more insane than what it was supposed to be. Now, typical sentencing hearings in cases involving journalists and whistleblowers, etc., like this it's usually a shorter hearing where the defense and prosecution lay out their statements. The defendant sometimes makes a statement depending on if they want to or not, and the judge carries out a sentence, what is based on the particular case that they're talking about. Now, this case involving Barrett Brown has been going back 2+ years at least, starting back in March 2012, where the FBI executed a search warrant on his apartment and his mother's apartment, which ended up looking for the particular computers that the information that Barrett had, which was related to the Stratfor hack that took place later on at the end of 2011, which Jeremy Hammond was a part of, and ended up being sentenced on November 15th to 10 years in prison as a result of the Stratfor hack. Now, Barrett's case involving the Stratfor hack is that he wasn't directly involved with the Stratfor hack. He was involved with the information that was released from that Stratfor hack, which contained credit card information about private intelligence firms, how private corporations collude with government, three-letter organizations, and to spy on for surveillance, etc. Now, with Barrett's case was the hearing that was on Tuesday, the sentencing hearing, December 16th, was about the 3 counts that Barrett ended up pleading guilty, which was the transportation on the internet, threat on the internet, obstruction of a search warrant, and then related with computer and hacking charges, which carried a maximum sentence of 8.5 years in prison, which was significantly much more less compared to the 100 years that the government tried to put on Barrett Brown because of sharing a hyperlink. Now, the information that the link had on it was credit card information, which Barrett didn't know about. But regardless of whether he didn't know or didn't, whether he knew about the information or not on that link, was that it was posted on a public domain, on a public website. So that means anyone could basically find it, other than even Barrett Brown, which stumbled upon which had the information there. Barrett had it, but anyone else that wants to look for that information can find it on a public domain. This was not the one place where Barrett posted it that no one else could find it. He posted saying, "What's this link for? What's this link about?" And basically the government tried to, earlier on, there was no trial involved with this case at all. It was all pre-trial until Barrett pleaded guilty to the 3 counts. But what the government tried to do was to pin Barrett on credit card trafficking charges, which basically insinuates the government tried to do was to say that Barrett was responsible for the credit card information that was leaked. Now, this was on a link that was shared on a public domain page that anyone else could have found other than Barrett. Anyone else could find it with due diligence and work. But with Barrett's case they tried to pin it on him because of the journalism work that he was doing, that he's done throughout several years, exposing private intelligence firms through Project PM, his organization he founded, in exposing organizations, exposing government intelligence agencies involved with the private intelligence agencies that are involved with surveilling activists, surveilling journalists, and stifling dissent throughout the country. Now, with this case was that they pinned it on the credit card trafficking charges, and basically the government insinuated was that anyone that shares a link now, this has the implications of this, anyone that shares a link with credit card information on it, regardless if you know about it or not, that you are the individual who could be charged with the credit card trafficking, not with someone who could use it for the wrong reasons. But if anyone, a journalist, anyone that retweets an article with a link that has incriminating information like that on it, you could be charged with the crime of credit card trafficking, which they tried to do and failed miserably, which they continually brought up in the sentencing hearing for some weird reason. But now with the sentencing hearing that took place on December 16th, the prosecution decided to drop 500 pages of evidence, 61 exhibits to the defense, for them to look over for 30-minute recess, to look over 500 pages in 30 minutes, to object to any of the exhibits. Now, this continued on, with Robert Smith, the FBI agent, the pseudonym Robert Smith, the FBI agent, that was involved with the threat that Barrett placed on him, which Barrett pleaded guilty to, which was the threat of the FBI agent after they kept harassing his mother after the raid on his mother's apartment to look for the computers that Barrett had there. And Barrett was obviously rightfully mad and made a YouTube video about it, which involved the agent Robert Smith, who was the main person involved in the case, which was getting rid of that type of laptop information that Barrett had. Now, this information it continued on hours upon hours to try to paint Barrett as a spokesperson, as a pseudo-journalist, propagandist, theorist, former journalist, all of these type of different words that came out throughout the entire day, really, that the prosecution tried to do. They did this all day mostly. And towards after lunch break or so, the judge decided, Judge Sam Lindsay, based on the witness that came out for the defense, which was Quinn Norton later on in the afternoon, one of the last witnesses before the court was adjourned for the day, the journalist for Wired magazine. And the prosecution brought out Robert Smith, who read the exhibits pretty much one by one through different excerpts of those 61 exhibits throughout the entire day, trying to pin Barrett as a terrorist, cyber terrorism, tried to paint all those different types of words on him based on a few quotes that were taken out of context, out of chat logs which were part of the exhibits that the prosecution released earlier that morning. So it continued on. The judge decided, because of the length of the witnesses and the information, that the judge decided to delay the sentencing once again. Now, this is not the first time that the sentencing has been delayed. It's been delayed multiple times, going all the way back to even October 2014. And then it was November, and then December, and then now it's been delayed to January 22nd, 2015. That's the new sentencing date, which hopefully we'll get some sense of what Barrett will face in jail, considering he's been in jail for 2+ years already as it is, responsible for basically sharing a hyperlink. That's what it boils down to. And one of the defense attorneys rightfully mentioned eloquently was that this should chill journalists to the bone. That's a direct quote, because of the implications that this case has, not just for journalists, but also anyone that shares a link. If there's a link that has incriminating information and you don't know about it and you share it on a public domain, you could be charged with credit card trafficking if there is that information up there. So that was a very interesting point she made, and rightfully so, that it affects everybody. And hopefully we'll see what happens with this case when the sentencing is hopefully carried out January 22nd, 2015, where Barrett faces the 3 counts for a maximum sentence of 8.5 years in prison. So it would be interesting to see what happens there. For more background on this case, for this information, check out our YouTube channel for more info. We interviewed Kevin Gallagher, who is the director of Free Barrett Brown, the Legal Defense Fund, which has done amazing work, and people should really contribute if they can, and also contribute to Kevin's work because of the great job that he does. You can also check out for a broader picture of the Stratfor leaks and the information pertaining to that, along with Jeremy Hammond's sentencing. You could check out our interview with Douglas Lucas, a journalist for Who What Why, who writes for Who What Why and other media outlets. Definitely check out our interview with him, he goes into the details of the Stratfor leaks and how they are important for everyone. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and definitely check out more of the information about Barrett Brown's case, #FreeBB, #FreeBarrett for more information, and also follow the main Twitter page for Barrett Brown's Legal Defense Fund @FreeBarrett. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and subscribe and check out more of our videos that we have about this case and many more coming soon.
There's this pop culture idea of the trial in America, that the trial is the place where justice is done, where 2 equal sides battle it out to find the truth. And this is such bullshit. Anyone who has been in a court for any amount of time realizes...
A colleague of mine, Barrett Brown, is currently locked in a cage facing a potential 100 years in prison for what I believe is an effort to silence him. And we're also seeing the administration go after whistleblowers.